Employment, this is structural unemployment, and this unemployment is occur because of the change in structure of the economy. So sometime economy experience a change in the production technique, and sometime because of the change in the production technique, skill required must be changed. Employment result from the imbalance caused by the decline of one industry and the rise of another. These are some of the reasons for the occurrence of structural unemployment. Looking at the present scenario, we can say that the rate of employment rising in industry sector, in the service sector, is much more higher than the rise of employment in the agriculture sector. So this happens because of the change in structure. For example, the setting up of a large mechanized manufacturing units in India leads to a decline in the handicrafts. Productions of some item has shifted from the traditional use of process or the traditional process of making things from machine-made things. And for using the sophisticated technology, people must have some knowledge. If people do not have knowledge about the technology, then they will be outdated, and because of that, the people, those who work using the traditional technology, they will be replaced by the inventions of new technology which need high skilled labor. So the labor who don't have a skill will remain unemployment because of the structural change. Let me show you some example. See, decline in manufacturing and occupational immobility, geographical immobility, robotics replacing jobs, outsourcing production overseas, disincentive and poverty trap, long-term regional decline, and foreign competition rising imports. These are actually the examples of the structural change, and this structural change can likely to create a problem in the economy. For example, decline in the manufacturing. Some products manufacturing changes. As I have said, this is a situations of structural changes. So some product manufacturing may changes, and because of that, the people, those who work in this industry or in some manufacturing industry, have to leave job and remain unemployed because of the structural change. And some people may again remain unemployed because of the occupational immobility, because some occupation always have to remain in one particular area, and if there is something wrong in that particular area, since that occupation cannot be shifted toward another place, because of that, if there is something wrong or if there is something natural calamities occurred, then people have to remain unemployed, and this is also one of the structural change, unemployment. And this is somehow similar with this point. I'm not going to say that, but this is, see, in the present scenario, it is very much true that because of the inventions in modern days, we see people get less job, and this is true, and this is happening in many of the countries, because robots, they are more efficient than human these days, because robot can also perform many works, and since this is a computer, they can do a specialized work with less time. So if you see in the manufacturing of car industry, you will see lots of robots working. Of course, there are many people getting job in the automobile manufacturing industry also, but I say that many of the employment opportunity is taken by the robots. So these are actually the structural changes of the economy which actually creates the problem of structural unemployment. See, the job opportunity of many human beings, many people are taken up by the robot, and robot can work tirelessly with specialized memory, not like a human, and this is because of the modern invention. And this is again another meme. Just see, employer want to give job, but they see specialized people, they see people with specialized knowledge, and this guy asking for job, but do not have the specialized skills. Because of that, they just reject that person. And this guy remain unemployed is because of the structural change. The structural changes has created a need of specialized skill and specialized knowledge of labor. Moving to the next is cyclical unemployment. This unemployment is characterized by a general deficiency of demand and consequently affects all industries at one and the same time. That means this actually happens in a cyclical manner. This cyclical unemployment is the worst type of unemployment which was occurred in 1930, where people have no job, less employment, less demand, less production, and because of that the cycle was continue. Okay, the employment level was at the low rate, and because of that it has effect to the less production and less demand of employment. This way the cyclical was continue. Unemployment resulted in depression, the cycle of business going up and down. Okay, so this cyclical unemployment is occur at the downswing of the trade cycle. When the trade cycle is moving into the downside, downside means what? All the low employment, less productivity, less demand, inflation, all these problems are there in the downside of the economy. So when the economy is experiencing in the downside of the trade cycle or the lowest point of the business cycle, there is a huge unemployment, and this type of unemployment is called cyclical unemployment, sometimes referred to as a mass unemployment. Since the economy is experiencing a depression, means the downside of the business cycle, so this unemployment happens for many people. That is why this is called mass unemployment, because since the economy is in the downside, production is very less, and because of that there is less output, and since there is less output there is less production also and less demand of labor also. So this way not only few, it is affecting all the general people. Every one of them, everyone are not getting job. This is the illustration. If demand falls, production will fall, and if production falls, employment will fall. So this way this will continue. Okay, so this was the real situations which was taken place in 1930, when there was low demand of products. Because of that the producer also started producing less, and because of that the producer demand less labor, and because of that again the income of the labor gone down. This cycle has continued to occur, which create a mass unemployment situations in 1930. So this is called cyclical unemployment. See, in the downside of the business cycle, falling in demand and then deflation, prices of all the products decreases because demand is falling. So the producer also want to sell all the inventories, means they have to sell up all the produce. So because of that they will also reduce the prices, but even after that also the situations cannot control. That is why the producer now also decrease the productivity. That means the producer is not going to produce more, and because of that in the next step of the business cycle they will demand less labor. So this way the unemployment situation continue, and it affects everyone in the society. Okay, so in 1930 this was the situations. Everyone was looking job, but no one was getting any job. So this is the business cycle. I think you can see it. So this is the upside and this is the downside. I'm talking about cyclical unemployment is to the lowest point of the business cycle, where many people remain unemployed. So this is the real situation, or this is the worst type of unemployment. Moving into the next is voluntary and involuntary unemployment. Voluntary unemployment means voluntarily you don't want to get any job. You have the qualification, you have the degree, you have the capacity to work, but you don't want to work in any place. So Voluntary unemployment refers to a situation when persons who are able to work but are not willing to work although suitable work is available for them. So this is voluntary unemployment. In the market, suitable job is available for me, but I voluntarily or I am willingly not to work. I don't want to work even though I have the qualification. So this type of unemployed is actually voluntary unemployment. What is involuntary unemployment? Involuntary unemployment means a situations which all able persons who are willing to work at the prevailing wage rate do not get job. Definitions of unemployment is taken from this involuntary unemployment. So the real unemployment is actually the involuntary unemployment. Why? Because if you are willing, if you have the qualification, but you don't find any job, then this is the real situations of unemployment. So this is the end of the class for today, and tomorrow and in the coming days we will keep on discussing about the further coming topics. Thank you.